So we spilled some Fruit Loops. Now we got to vacuum them up. And how we're going to do that, I'll show you. What we're going to do here. So we have our plane here. We distorted our plane. We added some points on this plane. Now we just need to delete points. And that will clean them up. And how we're going to delete them? We are going to use a simulation zone plus an object that will go over top of these points and delete them. And here we go. So we're going to add the simulation zone. Shift A, search, simulation, as well as a raycast node. And what the raycast node does, it shoots a ray from the object that is it shoots rays from an object, and the object in particular are these points. So right now its default is shooting down the negative direction, but we want to shoot up in the positive direction because this object is going to go above, and when that object moves above, the ray is going to get hit, and so it has this is hit value. And with the simulation zone, we're going to add it to the simulation zone, and then on each frame it's going to accumulate. So we need an object. Conveniently, I have an object here. It's my Roomba vacuum, very basic Roomba vacuum. And I added one extra feature to this Roomba vacuum. So I'm going to go to face, edit mode. I have this face here that's kind of just floating. And I added a vertex group to this vacuum. And I assigned that vertex group to this face. Assign, deselect, select. And now when I bring this object into the geometry node setup here, it will see this vertex group as an attribute that I can actually manipulate some geometry. So let's add my Roomba vacuum here. Set it to relative. Now put that into the target geometry. Now I'm going to Shift A, search attribute, named attribute, and then it's a float, and I'm going to go hit, because that is the name of the vertex group that I created. And then use Shift A, search, separate, delete geometry. Or is it separate? Yeah, let's go separate geometry. And I want to separate that one face while using the vertex group as a selection for the attribute. And to show that it is being selected, well, I wanted to just see that one face. Should work. Now we're going to add, I'm just going to delete that. Selection. One face. Oh yeah, so you can see one face is being selected. There's the one face, and there's 32 vertices. So it actually is working. Because if I go to inverted, there's more faces and edges, which is the main object. So it is working. You can kind of see in this spreadsheet, you can see that it's working. So I'm glad it's working. Okay, I'm on selected. We are going to add the points into the simulation zone here, and then into the points there. Now we're going to go Shift A, add a math node. And we're going to feed the is hit into there, add it to there, and then this to here. So it loops each frame. And to see that it is working, I did add some basic keyframes to this object here just to kind of get an idea. Because I'm going to show you how to add an object to a path and have this Roomba go along a path. And I want to show you the attribute being, I want to show you the points being affected. So I'm going to go add a viewer, and I'm going to feed that. And so when I move that, you can see we have true and false because it's a Boolean. Booleans are true and false. Delete my viewer, Shift A, search, delete geometry. And I want to delete the points, but not all of them, just a selection. And the selection is this. And now you can see the spot where the vacuum went over, there's no more Fruit Loops. So we're cleaning things up. We are getting rid of our mess. So what's happening, each frame, it is reading that object going over, and it's saying it's hit. Okay, store it for the next frame. Is it giving hit? Yes or no? Store it, store it, store it. So it's accumulating of that Boolean for that selection. Now, I kind of want to make this object go along a curve. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete these points, X, delete. Get rid of that. Didn't realize I selected that. So with a simulation zone, you always want to bring it back to 0 because it's simulating from 0. So if you're changing something with your simulation and nothing's moving, bring back your 0. Bring it back, your cursor to 0. All right, so I have actually created a path already. So you can see here, goes around here. And I know this is the starting point. And the reason it's a starting point, so if I go select my path, go into edit mode, turn on my overlays, and you can see here, actually I'm hitting backslash to focus on the one object, and you can see that the direction of the path is facing the arrows here, because that's key. Go back to isolation mode. Now I want to put this object on this path, and to do so I'm going to create a little geometry node setup for that object. Add modifier, geometry nodes, new. And I'm going to bring in my path, my path. And then from this way, we're going to use sample curve. Then we're going to go Shift A, search, transform geometry. Position. And then I want to make sure that's on relative. And now you can see when I move this factor along, it actually moves it along the curve. So that's kind of fun there. Now, you can see that if you watch this point right here, this is kind of the front area. I want this to follow the direction of the curve. So with that, we use a nice little node called Shift A, Align Rotation to Vector. And the vector, the direction we want to use, is the curve tangent. And then before we hook this up, what we want to do, the pivot point is Z, and we want the Y direction to face the curve tangent, which is between each point of the curve. And then we feed that into the rotation, and now you can kind of see that this gets aligned, not aligned, aligned. And when we move this object here, it actually rotates along that curve. So this is a way to make a follow path constraint within Blender. And this setup will really only work if you're using one object. If we're using instances and whatnot, there is another way of going about that. But for this one object, this is the basic setup. So you have your object info, relative, sample curve, factor, and so on and so forth. So one thing I can do is hit I to add a keyframe. And then move it along the curve. Hit I. Now, it is vacuuming it up. We're making our mess disappear. And now, since we're dealing with this curve, I can do a lot of other things. So I can adjust this curve, edit there. So I can go E. Actually, you know what? I'm going to delete this curve, X vertices, and let's draw. Draw. So let's go like this, and then around, 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 and then it goes like that. So now we have that going on. We just need to adjust our object. So if you don't see keyframes, you want to make sure you select the object that you're working with and then the node that you're adding keyframes to. So we have this going on there. Oh, we missed some. But then I hit play. Woo, 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 woo. There we go. And you know what? Sometimes we do miss things. I've recorded this tutorial many times. And, well, things are not going to be perfect. Trying to figure out problems, and especially with geometry nodes, there's always things that don't go well, and it's a troubleshooting process, but you learn things along the way. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.